Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Erin and today is Friday, which means it is a book review Friday once again. Now I actually polled you guys this week on my community tab. I asked you guys which book you would like to see this week. I gave you 4 options and I didn't take the poll down as soon as I wanted to. I left it up from Monday until Thursday at like 1 p.m. and I forgot to take it down after 1 p.m. so people kept voting and I felt really bad because at 1 p.m. when I needed to start reading, it was a tie. And I ended up picking Gone to See the Riverman this week, and next week we're going to do the Victorian Christmas ghost stories because next week is Christmas and I thought it just made sense. So if you voted after 1 p.m., I'm so sorry. It just didn't count because I had to start reading the book and I needed to read immediately. So I'm so sorry if you voted after 1 o'clock. Totally my bad. I hope you guys don't mind that that's what I decided to do, but there was a tie. And that's what I decided in the heat of the moment. So forgive me if you wanted to see the other book, but it will be next week's, I promise. So like I said, today we are reviewing Gone to See the Riverman by Kristopher Triana. I think that's how you pronounce their name. I'm really sorry, you guys know this. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. I think it is Kristopher Triana. I hope. I'm sorry. I have heard so much about this book, especially on Bookstagram. Everyone has been talking about this book. Everyone has been raving about this book. So I knew immediately that I needed to pick it up. And, you know, I wasn't disappointed. So let's talk about the cover. I think the cover is really interesting. It's not the typical color scheme that I would have expected. I don't know. It's very interesting with the oranges and the yellows, and then that like dark greeny, almost black color. It's greeny black. It's very interesting. I don't know. It's a very interesting color scheme. It is a soft matte touch cover. I really like it. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's the river, the trees, the boat. It matches the story very nicely, so I appreciate that. I like when covers match the story and it makes sense because who wants a cover that doesn't really fit the book? So yeah, I do like the cover. And now let's get into a synopsis real quick and then I will give you guys my thoughts and opinions. Lori has an obsession, and that obsession is Edmund Cox, a serial killer. Edmund has done vile and unspeakable things. It's very hard to understand why Lori feels how she feels towards him. They write letters back and forth, and Lori even visits him in prison. So as you can see, they've created a pretty close bond. So when Edmund asks Lori to do a task for him, she readily agrees, wanting to prove how much he means to her. The task is to find a key he has hidden and bring that key to the one called the Riverman. Seems easy enough. Lori ends up deciding to take her older sister Abby along with her. Lori is actually the one taking care of her older sister Abby. She suffers from mental and physical trauma from an accident that she had when she was younger. As Lori proceeds with the task, you start to learn more about Lori as a person, and you start realizing why she has this deep, deep connection to Edmund and why she feels so drawn to him. That's where I'm going to leave the synopsis. I want to keep it pretty short and sweet, and I just don't want to give too much away. I really just don't. So let's just get into my overall thoughts and opinions on the book. I have been wanting to read this book since the first review I saw of this book. It just intrigued me so much. And this book came out this year, so I haven't known about it that long, but it's a book that when I first heard about it, it stayed in the back of my mind just taunting me. Like, I have all these books on my TBR, obviously. I have all these books that I need to read, but it's just one of those books that stayed in the back of my head being like, you should buy me. You should pick me up, you should buy me, and you should read me immediately. And I was trying to hold down that nagging because I have so many books on my TBR, but I couldn't. I had to pick it up. It just intrigued me so much. It sounded right up my alley, and I just couldn't let go of this book. It stayed in my head constantly. I at least thought about this book once a day, just being reminded about how much I wanted it. So that gives you a little inside scoop on how my mind works when I find a book that I really, really want to read, and Gone to See the Riverman is definitely one of those books. You guys know, well, most of you probably know, if you don't watch my videos, you don't know this, but realistic horror is probably my favorite type of horror ever. I find it to be the most scary. I find it to be the most shocking. I find it to just scare me the most. And when I want to be scared, I'm gonna pick a realistic horror because it's my jam. It's just what I'm drawn to. There's just something about reading the evil within humanity and seeing how horrible and awful and just despicable humans can be, and I find that to be much scarier than, you know, a zombie apocalypse or something along those lines, things that I can't really see happening, whereas I can see people becoming a serial killer because there are serial killers. It's a very real thing that we see all the time, and so I find it to be, I don't know, I just find myself drawn to it because I know it's going to scare me the most. So when I read what this was about, I knew it was going to be exactly what I wanted. I think if you're like me, if we tend to read the same sort of books or we tend to have the same opinions on certain books, I think you will probably enjoy this as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. I know that sounds a little weird. I'll explain a little bit in a minute, but I think you'll really enjoy this if you have the same tastes as I do, and we tend to have the same opinions on books. So, I would like to give this book trigger warnings. You know, I do that a lot just because I don't want someone to go into a book and then become traumatized by something mentioned. However, I can't be too specific with these trigger warnings because it will ruin the plot of the book, and I don't feel comfortable giving spoilers. So if you are super, super nervous about anything, you can totally message me. I can give you specific triggers if you want to message me and discuss things with me, or if you want to ask me if something's involved, and I can definitely tell you that. I just don't want to put it in a video where I could potentially spoil this book, because spoiling this book would really ruin it. So if you are nervous about certain triggers, please message me and I will totally give you the specifics. I just don't want to put it in a video. In lieu of trigger warnings, I am going to tell you this is a very dark book. This is a very serious book. It deals with taboo subjects. It's gruesome. It's very messed up, okay? It's a very messed up book. So if that doesn't sound like something you would like, please don't pick it up, okay? Please don't pick it up. Now, if you like the dark, you like the disturbing, you like the messed up, and that is what you crave in the horror genre, I definitely highly recommend this, okay? It's a very messed up book, but it was very, very good. Very, very good. Lori is a very interesting character, and to read from her point of view is very disturbing a lot of the times, because she does have this deep connection with Edmund. He's a murderer. He's a very, very bad person. And she excuses his murders a lot of the time. She tries to justify his murders with excuses, and she's just so enamored with him that it doesn't even bother her what he's done. And I find it to be very disturbing to read. It's a very hard point of view to read from because she's enamored with a serial killer, and she excuses his behavior and tries to justify his reasoning for doing what he did, and it's just very disturbing to read about because, you know, There is no justification for what he did. He's an awful, awful, horrible person. And it's just so weird to read her thoughts and her feelings towards him and have to listen to her be this person for him. It's very strange. It's a very, very weird point of view. It just reminded me of Ted Bundy and how he had this fan club, and I'm sure he still has a fan club, and how women find him attractive, and that's just so, you know what I mean? It's not uncommon. There are these groupies for serial killers, and it's very weird. It's very strange. It's very gross. And I don't know, just being inside the head of someone like that in this book, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. It's just strange, and it made me think of Ted Bundy and all of the serial killers that have their little fan club, and how they always have these pen pals writing them, telling them that they're, you know, attractive and that they love them and they support them and they don't care that they did all these horrible, vile things. And it's like that, but in book form, and it's just, ew, you know? Laurie's darkest secrets start coming to the forefront as the journey progresses, and you start learning more and more about Laurie, and you start seeing what kind of person she really is. And I know that doesn't make sense, but it will if you read it. It's very interesting to see how Laurie progresses as a character from beginning to end, because the Laurie at the beginning of the book and how you feel about her while you're reading is completely different than the Laurie she is at the end of the book. It's almost like they're completely different people, but they're not. You just start realizing a lot about her. I know. Are you intrigued? You should be. It's very good. From the first page of this book, I was hooked. I just wanted to devour this book. I wanted to sit there and just keep reading, which I did. I read it in one sitting because there was no way I was going to be able to put this book down and not read beginning to end. I could not stop. The first page is so captivating. Every page is captivating, if I'm honest. The beginning to the end is just one insane journey that you yourself are on, even though, you know, Laurie and Abby are also on a journey. You are too. And reading it beginning to end is just an experience. It's wild. I just had to find out what was going to happen. I knew I was going to be hooked because of the reviews, and when I read the synopsis on Goodreads, I knew it was going to be something I liked. I know what I like, and I knew this was going to be something I liked, but I didn't know how much I was going to like it, or how, I guess, invested I was going to become. I just had to know about the Riverman. I had to know about Laurie. I had to know about Abby. There are just so many unanswered questions at the beginning of the book that I had to figure out what was going on. I had to put the pieces together. I had to learn what was going on. I just had to know. And that's a good book when it hooks me beginning to end, and I'm not even bored or thinking about what page I'm on or when this book's going to be done or anything like that. I was just simply reading in the moment. The book is only 160 pages, which is so short, but this book packs such a punch, guys. It packs such a punch. It's so intense, and I loved it. I loved every second of it, which is very, you know, weird to say because it is a messed up book. I just loved every second of it. It was exactly what I wanted. I understand what the reviews are saying. I understand why people are gushing about this book. I understand now. I get it. I am 100% also with everybody else who says they loved it, because I also loved this book. It's disturbing and it's so awful and messed up, but I couldn't look away. Something bad would happen or something would be revealed, and it would shock me, but at the same point, I just had to keep going. It didn't stop me. It didn't stop me at all. There was no deterring me from finishing this book. I knew I was going to finish it. I had to finish it. It wasn't messed up enough for me to not finish reading it, but it is a lot. It's an intense book. It's a lot. The ending was just ironic. It shocked me, but it shouldn't have shocked me. I feel like I should have known that it was coming, and I did know it was coming, but to actually read about it was just insane. It made me almost laugh, which not in like a haha this is funny way, but almost like when you're super flabbergasted or just completely thrown off and you have no other response but to laugh. It was like that. It wasn't like a, oh, this is hilarious, ha ha ha. It was more like a, oh, what? Like, you know, that. I'm sure you know what I mean, but I don't want you guys to think I was laughing at the end like, oh, this is funny, ha ha ha. You know, I'm sure you guys don't think that, but, you know. This is definitely worth the hype in my opinion. It's exactly what everyone says it is. It was so amazing. I just loved it. It was probably one of my favorite books of 2020, which I know is insane because I'm reading it in December and there's only a few weeks of 2020 left, but it was just so good. And this did come out in 2020 and I did read it in 2020, so it counts. I'm thinking about doing a favorite books of 2020. Let me know if you want to see that. If I do, it will definitely make an appearance in there because it was just so good. It was great. I don't know what else to say. It was so good. That's gonna do it for my review on Gone to See the Riverman by Kristopher Triana. I actually have read another book by Kristopher Triana. However, I am not reviewing it on my channel because I would definitely get demonetized. It's called Body Art. You can look it up if you want to, but it's a, yeah, these are completely different in my opinion, and I much preferred this one. Much preferred this one. So, if you're looking for a book by Kristopher Triana, I would highly recommend Gone to See the Riverman. Even if you're not looking for a book by Kristopher Triana, read this book because it's fantastic. Okay, my friends, that's going to do it for Book Review Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It lets me know what kind of content you enjoy from me. That way I can keep providing you with that kind of content. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We can become friends, talk about books, movies, makeup, horror, all kinds of things. I do a lot on this channel, so hopefully there's something for everyone. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday with another video. Bye!